Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 177. Day 177, we are in the process of solving word problems from day number 101 through 200, and today is our 77th day of doing a word problem. The problem for today is already on the blackboard. I'm going to read it to you. It says, what is the percentage rate of return? What is the percentage rate of return on an investment of $1,000 that produces a total income of, D dollars? D is some amount here that produces a total of D dollars in interest income over a period of N years. N is how many number of years that you're going to keep the money in the account. You're going to keep it for N years, and we are told that over a period of N years, it gives us a total interest income of D dollars on the investment of $1,000. The question simply is, what was the rate of return? What was the bank paying you? What was the percentage rate of return on the investment? If you were handed D dollars at the end of N years, what was your percentage rate of return? Pause the video, solve it yourself. Once you have the answer, you can resume it. And then compare your work that you're going to do on your own versus the work that we are about to do together. Okay? So here's the solution. So if we have interest income of D dollars on a $100 investment in 1 year, if you were to invest D dollar, if you were to earn an income of D dollars, let's say D is 7. So if you earn $7 on an investment of $100 in 1 year, that would imply 7% rate of return. Let me say it one more time. ROR stands for rate of return. Let me say it one more time. For example, if we are told that we earned income of $7 on an investment of $100 in 1 year, well, if you earn $7 on an investment of $100 in 1 year, that must imply that the bank was paying you 7% interest. Let's do one more example. If we are told, for example, that our investment of $100 gave us a return of $15 at the end of the year, well, if you earned $15, if you had an income of $15 on the investment of $100 in 1 year, then that would mean that we had a rate of return of 15%. It's the exact same thing that we're saying here. Here, we start out our story with pretending that we have a return of D dollars on an investment of $100, even though in reality we are investing $1,000, but we start out our story with something simpler. So if we were to earn D dollars on an investment of $100 over a period of 1 year, even though here we have N years, in 1 year, that would imply that we have a rate of return of D%. Let's carry on then. Let's carry on. But we're not investing $100, we are investing $1,000. So our income of D dollars on $1,000 instead of $100 in 1 year. I should put details on everything because otherwise it gets too crowded. An income of D dollars on an investment of $1,000, 10 times as much money in 1 year. So if I'm given $7 at the end of a 1 year as a result of the investment of $1,000, then in the case of $100, the return was 7%. Now it's going to be 7/10%. So it's going to be D over 10% rate of return. One more time, I'm going to do it with an example. Let's say, for example, if we earn $15, if we were to earn $15 on an investment of $100 in 1 year, well, a return of $15 on an investment of $100 in 1 year would imply 15% rate of return. But instead of $100, if we were to earn the $15 return on an investment of $1,000, that would imply a tenth of the return. Instead of 15%, it will be 1.5%, because 1.5%, 1.5% of $1,000 equals your $15. So that's what it is. Before it was D%, now it is D over 10. Let's carry on then. You have to build your step, your logic, your argument step by step. We're almost there. We're not investing it for $1. We are investing it for N dollars. So an income of D dollars on $1,000 in 2 years would have implied, if you were to earn the same amount of money, but not in 1 year, but in 2 years, it would have implied half as much return. If you were to earn the same return in 3 years, time, then it would have implied that the rate of return is 1/3 as much. If you were to earn the same return in a period of 5 years, it would have implied 1/5 the return. Only difference is there. Here we do not have 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. We have n years right here. So the answer is D over 10n. That's our answer. Our rate of return is D over 10n. That's the answer. That's all. It's a 3-step process. That's all it is. One more time. I'm going to do it one more time quickly. An income of D dollars. If we had an income of D dollars on an investment of $100 in just 1 year, that would have implied D% rate of return. Instead of $100, if we were to invest $1,000 and we earn the same return, then instead of D%, we'll have the tenth of the return, D over 10%. And then again, the last step, this is a return in 1 year. But if I have to wait 2 years to get that return of D dollars, then the return is half as much. If I have to wait 3 years to get that return, then the return is 1/3 as much. If I have to wait n years, then the return is nth of the previous one, which was D over 10. So D over 10 times n. Or if you like, it is actually D over 10 times 1/nth, which is same as D over 10n %. That is our answer. What we need to do now is to plug in some numbers, turn this problem into an arithmetic problem, redo the problem, and see if this thing gives us the right answer. Answer is, let's put it here. The answer is D over 10n %. Let's see if this thing gives us the same answer. Let's plug in numbers. Alright, so let's go back to the original problem and let's plug in numbers. So what is the percentage rate of return on an investment of $1,000 that produces a total of D dollars? How much do you want to earn? Let's pretend that we are earning $200. Let's pretend that we earn a return of $200 over a period of 4 years. Well, this is very straightforward now. This is very straightforward because if we are earning a return of $200, let's do it here with the plugging in. Plug in 200 for D and 4 for N. So if we are earning $200 in 4 years, that implies that we are earning $50 in 1 year. Well, if you're earning $50 in 1 year on an investment of $1,000, that in return implies 5% rate of return. That's all, we're done. The answer is 5% rate of return. Because 50 is 5% of 1,000. How do we know that? Because 5 is 5% of 100. If 5 is 5% of 100, then 50, which is 10 times as much, will have to be 5% of 10 times as much amount. Instead of $100, $1,000. So this is 5%. The answer is 5%. So if we were to plug in, if we were to go back to our answer choice here, not the answer choice rather, it wasn't answer choice, it was the answer that we arrived at. If we were to go to our answer there, and were to replace, and if you were to replace 200, if you were to replace d by 200 and n by 4 in that expression there, it better give us 5, because that's what we found here, 5%. That better equal 5. Let's see if it does. D is 200. D is 200 over 10 times n. 10 times n, which was 4. And let's see what happens. Well, this 0 cancels out with that 0. We end up at 20 over 4. And what do you know? 20 over 4 does equal 5. Today is our lucky day. It is 5%. Hey voila, as we say in the desert. Do you understand? That's it. We're done. That was all. That's what you have to do. Always make sure, always make sure that you take that extra few seconds to buy the insurance by plugging in numbers to make sure that the answer that you arrived at is in fact the right answer. It only takes a few seconds to go back and redo the problem in the arithmetic way and just verify it. This better give us 5. Based on these numbers that we did here, we did the problem here. What we did was we pretended that we were earning $200, not D dollars. We pretended we were earning $200 over a period of 4 years. Well, if you earn $200 over a period of 4 years, you must be earning $50 a year. $50 as a percentage of 1,000 is 5%. It's very simple. You see how simple it is? Once you replace the variables with the numbers, it is no longer a complicated algebra problem. It's a very, very, very simple arithmetic problem. A return of $200 over a period of 4 years, well, it's a return of $50 over a period of 1 year. $50 is 5% of 1,000. Voila, that's it, 5% rate of return. This better give us 5% when we replace D with 200 and N with 4. And it does give us 5%. It does give us 5. That's all, enough said. I will see you tomorrow on day number 178. Alright? Bye now.